Crystal. Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and how you ended up going from Moose Jaw to a fashion and costume designer in Calgary?
Oh, well, it was a dream. And I guess the dream kind of came true. It was always a dream of mine growing up in Saskatchewan. I grew up on a farm, and me and my sister would always just dream of things, you know, dream of things that we wanted to happen. And yeah, it just kind of came true. I remember being young and always telling my mom and dad that I wanted to be a fashion designer, and my mom and dad were very supportive, but some aunts and uncles were like, "Oh no, you can't do that. You have to be a doctor or a secretary or a teacher." And I was like, "Oh my God, like, what am I going to do? I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to be in fashion." But it was hard because at that time in Moose Jaw, no one was really doing it. So it was kind of like I had to just search to see how I was going to get through it. So it wasn't until about I was 21 years old that I finally went to school in Montreal for fashion, and again with my mom and dad's support. But yeah, I definitely went late just because of yeah, it just wasn't possible back then, or it didn't seem possible for a small town girl like me. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So then, can you tell me a little bit about, I guess, your company, Crystal Mckenzie Styles, and what you do?
Mhm. Yeah, so we do a lot of different things. I want to say I want to say I have about 6 assistants, and one of the main assistants is my husband Wayne. So he kind of takes care of all the assistants and makes sure that everybody is doing what they need to do, and he also does the accounting for the companies. So yeah, so we do a mixture of photo shoots, which are quite rare, um, majority commercials for everything from Cadillac commercials to Joe Fresh commercials or Superstore commercials. So that and anything in between. Um, and we also do production. We've started this week with a client needed a product, and we figured out how to make it for her, and now we're mass producing it. So yeah, so it's mostly styling, and then um it's hard because I do so many things. Like in the company, it's mostly commercials. I dabble in film for sure. Obviously I did the buying for Ghostbusters, as well as was the costume designer for Asteroid Impact, the IMAX documentary. And then right now I'm buying for The Last of Us, which is another super cool series based on the video game, as I'm sure most of you know. Um, Anyways, so I do a little bit of everything to make a career. And it's the career of my dreams. It's definitely busy, but I have many assistants to take care of the day to day and make my life a little less crazy.
No, perfect. And I guess you're mentioning those movies. Are there any other titles that people might recognize that you've worked on?
um, Not for movies, nope. Um, we've got, so Ghostbusters is coming out November 19th. And so we get to do a pre-screening of that. Yeah, I mean, we filmed that in 2018. So that was a long time ago, but just because of COVID, it takes a little bit longer to get things out. And then the Asteroid Impact IMAX, that's actually at the Regina Science Center. And when we were in Saskatchewan for a holiday this summer, my husband ended up seeing it, an ad for it. And so we went to see it, and it was absolutely incredible. It hasn't come to the Calgary IMAX yet, but I'm sure it's just a matter of time. But if anyone gets a chance to see it, it's super cool. There was one other movie, I guess probably the first movie that I ever did, and it was called El Chicano. And I believe that was 2016. And that was with George Lopez and Amy Garcia. And so that was kind of my introduction into film. A lot of people, like, either you're in film or you're doing commercials, and right now I'm buying for The Last of Us, and it's a lot.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, so our first day on set, there was 500 background people.
Wow.
And that's just people in the back that you're probably not going to see, but we dress them individually, like head to toe.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
there's nothing that goes unnoticed, like every single person. Yeah, so in the last, maybe since Sunday, we've dressed about 100 background people for the upcoming season. So yeah.
Wow. So what's it like working with these movies? Because I can't imagine they're like your run-of-the-mill clients.
No, definitely not. So yes, as I was saying, a lot of people say either you do film or you do commercials, and some people, prefer commercials because obviously they're a lot shorter. They come to an end, whereas a series is just like ongoing. Yeah, so I'm not sure what I prefer yet. I still like to dabble in all, but I'm sure there's going to come a point where I'm going to have to make some decisions. But yeah, it's honestly, it's just like any other client. I work very hard. That is definitely a key. I mean, I think I make Saskatchewan proud because everyone knows that if you're from Saskatchewan, you're a very hard worker. And I definitely am that. Yeah, it's incredible. It's out of this world. It's like, it's the only way to describe it. I don't know how it fell in my lap. I prayed for it too for so many years as a kid, and somehow it's here, and it's great. Yeah.